The Corvette name has long stood for all-American performance, but in recent years, it's been creeping closer and closer into supercar territory. Now, for 2026, Chevrolet has unleashed the ZR1, the most extreme, most powerful, and most technologically advanced Corvette yet. This isn't just a fast version of a sports car, this is a proper supercar slayer. So let's break it down and see what makes the ZR1 such a big deal. Sitting behind the seats in the 2026 ZR1 is a monster of an engine. It's a 5.5-litre flat-plane crank V8 like the one in the Z06, but this time it's strapped with twin turbochargers. The result? An estimated 850 horsepower and 825 lb-ft of torque. That makes it the most powerful road-going Corvette ever built. This engine revs high, screams like a race car, and delivers explosive power at any RPM. It's mated exclusively to an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, which snaps through gears with lightning precision. From a standstill, it'll hit 60 in about 2.5 seconds, and with launch control engaged, it feels like your organs are trying to leave your body. But it's not just brutal, there's refinement too. The power delivery is linear, the throttle response is razor-sharp, and the sound from the quad exhaust system is feral. Even at idle, it burbles with menace. At full chat, it sounds like thunder being torn in half. It's clear this engine wasn't just built to go fast. It was built to terrify and excite in equal measure. And even with all this madness, it's designed to meet emissions and drive like a civilized car when you're just cruising. It's a brilliant balance of brute force and technical finesse, and it sets a whole new standard for American performance. Beneath the wild bodywork of the ZR1 lies a chassis that's been dialed in for total control. Chevrolet has taken the already excellent mid-engine platform of the C8 and gone to town with enhancements. The suspension uses the latest version of magnetic ride control, which can read the road and adjust the dampers in real time. On track, this thing stays flat through corners, soaks up curbs without drama, and stays incredibly composed even at the limit. There are massive carbon ceramic brakes from Brembo that scrub speed without fade, and the steering is ultra-sharp, giving you real-time feedback on grip levels. There's also a trick electronic limited slip diff that shifts power precisely across the rear axle for maximum corner exit traction. And when you switch into the most aggressive drive mode, everything tightens up, throttle response sharpens, shifts get more violent, and the aero pieces start to make real downforce. Chevrolet spent time developing this car on the Nürburgring, and it shows. It doesn't just go fast in a straight line, it's surgically precise. The way it rotates through tight bends and holds its line at triple-digit speeds is something that would make even European supercars sweat. This isn't just a faster Corvette, it's a different animal entirely. The grip is immense, the balance is superb, and it feels like every part of the chassis was tuned by people who genuinely care about how a car should feel at the limit. The exterior design of the 2026 ZR1 is pure theatre. You can tell immediately this car means business, even when it's sitting still. The front end is completely reworked with massive openings for cooling, flared intakes, and an aggressive new splitter that looks like it could slice tarmac. The headlights are slimmer, more angular, and give the car a more focused, sinister look. Along the sides, the wide-body stance is even more exaggerated than on the Z06. You've got huge vents carved into the rear haunches feeding the intercoolers for the twin turbos, and the whole thing sits low and wide like it's glued to the ground. At the back, there's a new active rear wing that adjusts based on speed and driving mode. When it's fully deployed, it looks like something straight off a Le Mans racer. The taillights retain the Corvette signature shape, but are slightly tinted and more sculpted. Below that is a new rear diffuser housing 4 center-mounted exhaust pipes that look like they've been borrowed from a spaceship. You can spec the car with optional carbon fiber aero packs, lightweight wheels, and even a see-through engine cover to show off the turbocharged V8. Every angle of the car has been touched with purpose, and the result is a car that looks as fast as it is. It's not subtle. It's the kind of design that turns heads, drops jaws, and probably gets phones pulled out every time it parks. Inside the ZR1, the cockpit is driver-focused and completely immersive. Slide into the heavily bolstered sport seats, and you're greeted by a cabin that blends premium materials with motorsport inspiration. Everything you touch feels substantial. There's leather, Alcantara, exposed carbon fiber, and contrast stitching throughout. The flat-bottom steering wheel is squared off and trimmed in suede, with tactile controls that put everything you need right at your fingertips. Behind it is a fully digital 12-inch instrument cluster that changes layout depending on the driving mode, including a performance track display that shows lap timers, G-force, and boost levels. The central infotainment screen runs the latest GM software, and it's sharp, fast, and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatible. You also get a head-up display that projects your speed and navigation directly onto the windscreen. But the coolest part? The performance data recorder. It captures footage of your drives or track sessions, overlays telemetry, and lets you analyze every lap like a race engineer. Despite its extreme performance, the ZR1 doesn't skip on creature comforts either. Heated and ventilated seats, dual-zone climate control, a high-end Bose audio system. It's all here. Everything is angled toward the driver, and the seating position feels spot-on for spirited driving. The overall vibe is sporty, but not stripped out. It's a car you could easily spend hours in without getting fatigued. But when you're ready to get serious, the interior is set up to give you everything you need to chase lap records. Even with all the power and performance, the ZR1 isn't just a weekend toy. Thanks to its clever adaptive suspension and drive mode settings, it can actually tone things down when you're just commuting or cruising. Put it in tour mode, and it becomes surprisingly compliant, soaking up bumps with a level of comfort you'd never expect from something with this much power. The cabin is well insulated for the most part, though that engine is never truly quiet. And honestly, you wouldn't want it to be. Visibility is decent for a mid-engine car, and there's even a front lift system to help with steep driveways or speed bumps. The front and rear cargo area provide just enough space for a couple of bags or groceries. Fuel economy isn't great, as you'd expect, with mid-teens in the city and low 20s on the highway. But it's not a gas guzzler in the way supercharged V8s usually are. There's also a full suite of safety tech: lane keeping, adaptive cruise, blind spot monitoring, even a rear-view camera mirror for better visibility. And with parking sensors front and rear, you're not left guessing in tight spots. The ZR1 manages to blend daily usability with insane performance, and that makes it stand out. It's not something you'd drive every single day, but it absolutely could be. For a car this fast, this loud, and this outrageous, the fact that it's even remotely livable is a pretty big win. The 2026 Corvette ZR1 is expected to start around the $130,000 mark. That's a lot of money, until you start comparing it to what this car can actually do. With 850 horsepower, carbon ceramic brakes, active aero, and Nürburgring-tested chassis tuning, it offers genuine supercar performance for half the price of a Lamborghini Huracan or Ferrari 296. Even against something like the Porsche 911 Turbo S, the ZR1 holds its own, and in some cases, outpaces it. And it's not just about straight-line speed, it's the full package. The way it looks, the way it sounds, the way it handles, it's dramatic, emotional, and seriously quick. Chevrolet has managed to create a car that delivers performance levels once reserved for million-dollar hypercars, while still undercutting most of its European rivals. And with its limited production numbers, the ZR1 could also hold its value well, especially among collectors who know just how rare a twin-turbo flat-plane V8 is in today's increasingly electrified world. There will be options, of course: carbon fiber packs, upgraded interiors, track-focused tires. But even the base car is a monster. If you're the kind of person who values raw power, exotic styling, and cutting-edge engineering, and you don't want to remortgage your house to get it, this ZR1 makes a very strong case. It's proof that American performance can still go toe-to-toe with the best in the world, and maybe even knock a few off their pedestals while it's at it.